What's up, guys? It's Toby Rosario. So I wanted to do a quick video because I have been getting some emails and some DMs of people who are just literally just starting this wholesaling journey, and they have the same questions I kind of had in the beginning. Um, so I just wanted to address those questions and kind of give some advice to the people who are kind of just right at the start of the race. They're at the start of their journey and don't know too much about wholesaling. And I just wanted to give some advice and pointers and best practices so you guys can kind of get out of your own way. So before I get started, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that bell notification. That way you can be notified whenever I post a new video. Also, give this video a like. Give this video a like. So the first thing I want to point out is that again, this was something that held me back for a while, was to stop overthinking, right, and just get started. I know it sounds simple. I know it's very cliche. You know, you hear it over and over and over and over again, but it's true, right? Um, because when in your head, you have this self-limiting belief that you first of all you feel like you need to know everything in order to get started, right? And that's definitely not the case. And you're afraid because you don't know all the steps from A to Z, so you kind of have like analysis paralysis. You watch all these books, you ask all these questions, you watch all these YouTube videos, but you're still stuck and you haven't taken action, because you have analysis paralysis and you feel like you need to know all the steps. And that was me, right? When I first started, full transparency, that was me. I felt like I needed to know everything. I would ask all these questions, even the same questions, just to kind of confirm. Um, and the best advice I can give you is, I know it sounds very cliche. It's just stop overthinking and just get started, right? Take that first step, right? You worry about steps 4, 5, and 6 when it's times when it's time to worry about 4, 5, and 6, right? So just stop overthinking, get started, and what I mean by get started is, okay, stop watching videos and start taking action, right? Um, Start sending out mail pieces, or start doing driving for dollars. Start talking to sellers, and that's kind of where you'll start to get over the feel. You start to feel more confident. And the good thing about wholesaling, you're essentially your own boss, right? So if you mess up, you mess up, right? There's no one on top of you telling you, this is the way it's supposed to be done and things like that. So, you can withhold those failures, and no one's really going to be out there criticizing those failures, right? So you'll have your losses, and you can keep those losses between you, and no one's going to be out there knowing what exactly where you messed up, and you're going to mess up, and that's fine, right? Um, so again, first start, and then stop overthinking it and just get started. Just stop watching videos and start taking action. And then second thing is, you don't want to, especially in the beginning, if you don't know, um, uh, if you haven't closed your first deal, you want to start very low budget. You don't want to spend a lot of money on these tools and CRMs and masterminds and courses and things like that, because you want to use that money for marketing. You want to use that money to generate leads for your business. You want to use that to sell leads, right? Because that's how you close deals. People are calling you, letting you know that they're interested in selling. So you want to start very low budget. No need to buy a bunch of tools or CRMs and all that crap. That's going to help you down the road, but not when you first get started, right? Not when you're at the start of the race, right? So don't focus on buying all these programs, all the next best thing. Don't get caught up too much in all these things that are out there, because then you have a monthly expense, right? Most of these are subscription based, so you don't want to keep paying. The only thing I would recommend in the beginning is like a tracking number. If you can afford it, something like CallRail. But if you don't have that, you can just use Google Voice. Um, and then third thing is, so I would just, depending on your budget, even if you have some sort of budget, I would focus on one zip code. So pick one zip code, and I have a video how to find the hottest zip codes. Focus on that one zip code. Um, Focus on that one zip code. Pick one zip code, focus on that. Market to that one zip code, very low budget. Again, you want to do driving for dollars. You want to like do stack lists. You want to stack lists, uh, and maybe send some direct mail pieces. You want to do cold calls, SMS, bandit signs. You want to just stick to one zip code. You don't want to mail a whole county. You don't want to mail 5, 10 zip codes. You want to stick to one zip code. Um, Especially when you first get started, like try to really focus on one zip code, because that way you're you're not spending a ton of money on marketing, and especially in the beginning, you can kind of practice on the seller leads you're generating, and refine your approach, refine your script, refine your get more confident with the sellers in the beginning. You don't want to get overwhelmed in the beginning. Essentially, what I'm trying to get at. And then, so once you start generating some leads, um, while you're generating leads, you can also start generating buyer leads, which I know a lot of people um, are afraid, or they think like, what if I get a deal and I don't find a buyer? Well, let me tell you something. If you can't find a buyer, you don't have a deal, right? Especially in today's market. If you don't, if you can't find a buyer, you don't have a deal, right? If the deal, if it's a real deal, you're gonna find a buyer. So I never worry about that. But if you are worried about that, as you're generating and um, as you're trying to generate leads, like generated motivated seller leads, you can do like ghost bandit signs. Essentially what that is you want to create a bandit sign that says, one two, you can just say like cash buyers only, 3 bedroom 2 bath, ARV 150, price 75,000, cash buyers only, right? So you can do something like that. You're gonna get a lot of calls for that. You can put like must sell, 3 bedroom 2 bath, 50,000, cash buyers only, and then put a phone number. Boom. You'll get cash buyers like that. And then another useful tool that you can use is like JV with local wholesalers who are currently doing deals. Um, I've JV several times, and it's good because you don't have to. Sometimes the buyer that they have will pay a lot more than the buyer you have. So you're always willing to you always have to be willing to network and uh, work with other people in that area, because sometimes they have buyers who are willing to pay more. And as long as it makes sense for both of you guys, as long as the numbers make sense and you guys have an agreement and you laid out all in detail, this is what I expect. This is our agreement. Whether you want to split it 50-50, 60-40, 70-30, whatever that agreement is, it's good because again, uh, that buyer might be willing to pay more than what your buyer would be. And then, especially if you haven't closed your first deal, that the wholesaler is probably more experienced and he can walk you through that first deal, make sure it gets to the closing table, if there's any title issues or anything like that. Um, Again, forgive me if you hear noise in the back. I am in the park, so just wanted to do a quick video to talk about kind of the first things you need to be doing, especially if you're getting started. If you haven't closed that first deal, if you haven't made that first cold call, if you haven't started generating leads or anything like that, just first stop overthinking and just get started. Just take action. Start generating leads. Start writing down addresses. Start sending them letters. Start cold calling them. Skip tracing, cold calling them, and asking them if they're interested in selling. And the worst that could happen is they tell you no, right? Or they hang up on you or they curse you out. After that, you just move on, right? You start to build more thick skin. You're gonna get a lot of no's, especially in the beginning. So don't get discouraged. Um, and get out of your own way. I know that happened with me in the beginning because I used to always think that I had to have all the answers, and you really don't. You just kind of learn as you go. You're gonna gain more experience by doing it than actually watching someone like me or someone on YouTube. You're gonna gain more experience like that. You're gonna get a whole bunch of experience just kind of doing it and learning as you go. So that's my time. I'm in Joe Rosario. Peace.